boost. You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. We'll just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, don't unfriend me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, down so what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts and truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dog.
Hey, Hog Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The Dumb Show and his website, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. What are we?
I mean, no, we're not supposed to be on tonight. I mean, we weren't supposed to be on tonight. Of course, we are on. That is the fastest dinner that has ever traversed my gullet in history. So we did a flyby. Okay, so I got up this morning, did the show this morning, which was just me testing some things out, and I had to order a computer stand and a few other things to make all this work. So I got all that done. Then did the recorded show. Then as I'm literally wrapping up the recorded show, I get a flash, and the flash is. Listen, I didn't expect McCarthy to be ousted until I heard this morning that Matt Gaetz was possibly trading ponies with Democrats in regards to subpoena power for the House, saying that the new speaker, whoever that would be a Freedom Caucus type person. I don't know if I believe that. And I addressed it last night too. But the moment that I heard that Democrats were not going to support Kevin McCarthy because what he did on Sunday, which came all the news channels and essentially threw all the Democrats under the bus in regards to the spending bill, Democrats are like, screw you, we're not going to save you. You threw us under the bus. I mean, this was a Kevin McCarthy and Massey budget, hands down. And he signed off on it. And then he threw the Democrats under the bus and tried to play political, and Democrats weren't going to save him. So the problem is that McCarthy knew that his job was in jeopardy, Liv. He knew it. Matt Gaetz made no attempts to hide it. And McCarthy still went on the Sunday talk shows and really tried to thumb his nose at Gaetz and the Democrats. And I mean, this is death by assisted suicide.
Why did Gaetz want him out so bad?
All right. Well, there's a few. Well, I think, listen, just to be honest with you, I think Kevin McCarthy suicided himself. I think Kevin McCarthy knew exactly what was going to happen. He's not a stupid politician. I don't think he wanted the job anymore. Who would want to babysit these petulant little children in the Republican Party? I mean, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you all my honest opinion. I'm going to give you all that. I'm even breaking. Let's just get this out right now. Matt Gaetz is coming on Laura Ingraham in a matter of minutes. And the reason why Matt Gaetz is coming on Laura Ingraham in a matter of minutes is because I have heard from two people specifically who are in the Freedom Caucus, and that's as far as I'll go. Anybody who's watched the show for more than 2 minutes knows what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about, who have confirmed that Republicans, House GOP Republicans, are attempting to oust, but they ousted McCarthy, but the word is expel Matt Gaetz.
And that means he would no longer be in Congress?
That's right.
Now, McCarthy is still in Congress. He's just not speaker.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And it's my understanding that that McCarthy is not going to. He's not going to even attempt. Now, here, let's slow down. Now, Rhonda says that's doubtful. No, it's not. It's not doubtful at all.
It's on a thread about Trump being speaker.
Okay, Trump's not going to be speaker. Can we just stop, please? Everyone, just stop. Okay, I'm about 99.9% sure that he's not, and this is where I could be wrong. I will give up the Don't Unfriend Me show if he's going to be speaker. You don't understand. Nobody's going to vote him in. They have a slim majority, and there are enough Republicans who are not going to cross the aisle. There are Republicans who specifically, there's too many never Trumpers in that. Nobody's going to let it happen. Because what it's going to do, the RNC will never let that happen. Because what's going to happen is the Democrats are like, they're circumventing democracy. They're trying to install him. You're just, listen, you can't keep giving these over-the-plate pitches to the Democrats to knock out of the fucking park, because that's what they're doing. They're embarrassing us. And I'm going to go over why all this. Okay, so the information that I have, let's just keep it grounded in reality. Okay? He's the Republican nominee for president. There's no fucking way he's going to be speaker. Okay, so can we just stop? I've been fielding that question for a year and a half, and I'm done with it. It's the dumbest question ever. No offense. And I don't even know who said it, so I'm not attacking you. So don't be like, oh, I'm not going to watch the show ever again because Matt's attacking me. I'm not attacking you. It's not just you. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who believe that Trump's going to be the speaker and it's all part of the plan. It's not. There is no plan. Okay? The plan right now is for Trump to stay out of jail. That's his plan. Okay? That's the only plan we've got for America right now. And if you think that this shit show that's going on in the House is a part of the plan, please. No, the speaker does not have more power than the president. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. If you think the speaker has more power than the president of the United States because they control the financial purse strings, then we don't really understand the separation of powers inside our government. There is no branch more powerful than the other. They are all three equal power. Now, the House controls the money, but the Senate controls the oversight. The executive branch executes the laws and can decide not to do that. And the Supreme Court can decide that these laws are unconstitutional. So everyone has equal power amongst the government. That's why we have three different branches. So to say that the Speaker of the House is more powerful than the President of the United States, I completely disagree. Money, execution. So they have the money. Okay, so they have the money, and the President of the United States says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have the Attorney General is going to look into this to see if it's constitutional, or the DOJ is going to look into this to see what's in the confines of the executive branch. And if it's not, I'm not going to do it. He's got veto power. Then it has to go back and it's got to get a 2/3 majority. Look, I'm not going to have this conversation with you. The Speaker of the House is not more powerful than the President of the United States. And the President of the United States isn't more powerful than the Speaker of the House. They have different responsibilities. Therefore, they are responsible for two different things. You might as well say the New York Yankees can beat the New York Jets. That's great. Who cares? Because they can't. They're totally two different sports, totally two different things. Folks, I got too much to cover tonight. Janet, I love you. I got a lot going on. It's been a long day, and it's going to be a long night. And tonight, I mean, we were supposed to make love to your woman. I'm going to lay you down by the fire.
Yeah, I went in 2 hours early and I worked a 10-hour day.
So she's tired. So let's just focus on what we need to focus on. Okay, so let's just do that. Let's all agree. We're not going to talk about Trump being speaker. We're not going to talk about that this was all planned in Guantanamo Bay and the military tribunals coming to arrest. Okay, let's just stop all that crap. There's no lizard people. Let's just be baked and based. Okay. Okay, great. Now, everyone needs to understand something. Matt Gaetz, it's my understanding, from two people who are in the House of Representatives who have inside track to this, have texted me and said, dude, it's not over. There are House GOP Republicans who are loyal to Kevin McCarthy who are moving to expel Matt Gaetz. Does that make sense? Now, Can Matt Gaetz be expelled? That's the question. I think everybody wants to know, right? How can they do that? It can't happen. There's no way. Actually, there is. Before McCarthy left, he was having the ethics committee look into Matt Gaetz, knowing that this very well could be this could happen. He had the ethics committee start opening up investigations on Matt Gaetz. Now there are Republicans who are moving forward with to expel the same thing that happened to Al Franken. And the Democrats are not going to stand in the way. Do you understand that Matt Gaetz had to make a deal with the devil? He had to make listen how screwed up this is. Liv, are you listening? Are you paying attention to this?
Yes.
Because listen, Democrats hate who?
Trump and Republicans.
What type of Republicans?
MAGA Republicans.
MAGA Republicans. And who are the MAGA Republicans?
Anyone who supports Trump.
Correct. Or the Make America Great Again. Now,
Yeah.
so the Democrats who believe the MAGA Republicans are racist, xenophobic, transphobic, Nazi orange men, deplorable, Bible-thumping, gun-grabbing douche plows, decide to go with the largest, supposedly transphobic, homophobic, Nazi-like, Bible-thumping, gun-grabbing, douche plows, Nazis in Matt Gaetz.
He's very, very conservative.
Matt Gaetz is the head MAGA. He's the head Nazi. He's the Goebbels from frickin' 1940 Germany. That's what they think. Now, if you think that everything I'm saying is coming true, I feel like the emperor. Yes, everything's the dark side. I feel like, why? Because the moment Matt Gaetz comes on, Laura Ingraham, Kevin McCarthy just announced at 7:30 he's doing a speech right there inside the anteroom. And if you think that's not directly to go ahead and stop people watching Gaetz, it is. There is a civil war inside the GOP right now. It's one that I called in 2014 when the Tea Party split from the Republican Party. And I called this like 2.5 years ago that I said that the Republicans would splinter long before Democrats would ever. So you've got a situation here where the Democrats who despise MAGA went with the most alt-right person in the House and made a deal with him and said, we're not going to protect McCarthy. That's what just took place. Do you really believe? Now listen to me, folks. Listen deep. Now come with me. Come with me on this journey into truth. Do you really think that if the ethics committee puts a proposal to expel Matt Gaetz, that all of those Democrats are not going to vote to do the same thing that they just did to Kevin McCarthy? They have a chance to get the number one Trump supporter in the House out, the leader of the Freedom Caucus party. Do you really think that those Democrats are not going to? And do you think they're not going to have the votes for the Republicans to hit 2/3? Yes, they will. If somebody proposes Matt Gaetz to be removed, Matt Gaetz is going down. The only way Matt Gaetz would not go down is in the deal to oust McCarthy. Matt Gaetz said, there's only one thing. If they try to oust me, you vote on my behalf and you don't give them the 2/3 majority. And if we see this happen, Matt Gaetz struck a deal with the Democrats. And if he did, fuck him. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Say, Matt, you're wrong. So, if there's a vote to remove Matt Gaetz, I will say it again. If he is not removed, he struck a deal with the Democrats to not be removed if he gave them Kevin McCarthy.
Did he want Speaker to begin with?
No, he doesn't want. Nobody wants Speaker. They don't know who they're going to put. Nobody wants it. Scalise doesn't want it. Massey doesn't want it. Roy doesn't want it. Reynolds doesn't want it. Nobody wants it. I'm telling you right now, Gaetz traded ponies with the Democrats if he's not ousted. If they do not move forward with this expulsion, I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be shocked. Because everything I'm hearing right now is the GOP is moving to expel Matt Gaetz. That's what I've heard. They've got the votes. McCarthy doesn't want this anymore. I'm telling you, it was assisted suicide. Kevin McCarthy's not stupid. He is not stupid. Stop giving him an underestimated value. Kevin McCarthy is extremely smart. He's very smart. Nobody's saying what I'm saying right now. Go watch all the shows. Nobody is saying that there's going to be there's an effort for the GOP to remove Matt Gaetz. Nobody is saying this. They're going to start. Benny's going to cue off on it. He's going to ask his sources, and then all of a sudden he's going to come out and be like, oh, guess what I found out? It makes sense. But if you believe that the Democrats don't have 2/3 majority vote, you're insane. They do, because it's Matt Gaetz. If it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, it might be even more popular. 2/3 majority is all you need. You have that in Democrats. And all the Republicans are going to vote along party lines. You're going to have 20 people from the Freedom Caucus who are going to vote in line with Gaetz. You may have 2 or 3 more stragglers. Then every other Republican is going to vote to out Matt Gaetz. Then you really only need about 100 votes from frickin' Democrats. And I guarantee there's 100 people who want to sink Matt Gaetz on the Democrat side. You know what Nancy Pelosi is going to do? Vote against him. Nancy Pelosi will send out a moment to sink him, torpedo him, kill him. He's done. And then what does that do? You've got the leader of the Freedom Caucus gone. You've got Kevin McCarthy, the leader of the GOP and the Uniparty, gone. You have the Republicans demonstrating when they have an investigation into Joe Biden, which is absolutely going exactly where they want it to go. They have subpoena power. You do everything that you need to do in order to get elected because Joe Biden has the worst economy, period, ever, period. And that's the #1 issue voted. Everything was looking so good. Now, how does it look now? This is going to be the conversation by Democrats. They're inept. They can't do anything right. They can't even decide who they want to lead them. How are they going to lead the country?
And the nation's looking at it like that. It's not like we weren't the laughingstock of the world anyway, but now it's just add fuel to the fire.
Yep. All you're doing is getting the Democrats exactly what they want. This is what they want. Now, I'm gonna say a few things. This is a shit show. It's a shit show for a few reasons. Because a lot of people are saying, yeah, Kevin McCarthy's gone. And I'm like, you don't understand what's happening. You don't understand. The investigation into Joe Biden is halted. Over the next 45 days, we have no Republican leadership. We're trying to decide on the budget. So that's going to allow Democrats to go ahead and propose anything they want and know that any words that the Republicans say that will stand shoulder to shoulder are on deaf ears because the Republicans have no unity. They know they're fractured. This is going to be the time that Democrats get funding for Ukraine for the next 10 years, the next decade. They're going to push through Green New Deal proposals in this budget. They are going to add 10 to 15% to the budget, and they're going to go ahead and push through whatever legislation they want, knowing that Joe Biden's there at the top and that there's nobody in the Senate who has the balls to stand against it. And there's nobody in the House who can rally Republicans to stand shoulder to shoulder. You watch over the next 45 days what's going to happen to this budget. It is going to be nuked.
Hey, question. Who are the 8 Republicans that voted him out?
I'd have to get that. Well, it doesn't matter. It's more than 8.
Okay.
Because there's 21 Freedom Caucus members right now. So, Roy, Luttrell, Eli Crane, Boebert, MTG. I heard, oh, by the way, somebody confirmed to me. I'm sorry I'm yelling. I'm frustrated. Somebody confirmed to me that MTG voted against McCarthy. And if she didn't, I fucking told you that too. I told you. She's not a Trump supporter. She is an establishment Republican. She doesn't give a shit about Trump. She never has. She cares about her wallet. Someone go find out.
If MTG voted for
Just find out the vote.
It was 216 to 210.
No, honey, does that say MTG voted? No. What I'm looking for is the actual vote to find out where she stood.
Okay.
Boebert did not vote. Of course, she doesn't. She never votes. She never gets on record. That's what I told you about Boebert, too, when you all defended her. She doesn't show up. She never shows up to vote. And of course, MTG didn't vote against McCarthy. Of course she didn't. Of course she didn't. I told you. McCarthy went against Trump, right? McCarthy insulted Trump over J6. He also didn't support the election. He's never supported Trump. Yet, why did Donald Trump endorse McCarthy? Does anyone want to tell me that? 8 Republicans voted along. Liv's getting it.
It was 8 Republicans.
Here they are.
And they are, of course, Matt Gaetz, Andy Biggs from Arizona, Ken Buck from Colorado, Eli Crane, Arizona, of course, Matt Gaetz, Bob Good from Virginia.
What about Luttrell?
Nancy Mace from South Carolina.
Now, Nancy Mace, the reason why Nancy Mace went after is because Nancy Mace was proposing gun legislation and also right to life shit. And she expected Kevin McCarthy to bend on that stuff. Mace, you're an idiot. So that's why. That's personal. Go ahead.
Matt Rosendale, Montana.
Yep.
And that's it.
Luttrell didn't, huh?
It does not say he did.
Well, that's interesting. Did he vote?
Let me see.
Because if he voted nay or wasn't present,
It's not Marcus. What's his name?
Oh my God. It doesn't matter. Just look up for the last name Luttrell. Go look it up on your computer. You've got there's a $3,000 computer right in front of you. What the hell is Luttrell's first name? My gosh. I just call him Luttrell. Welcome to the military mindset. I can't believe this. I'm so ashamed. Oh, Morgan.
Morgan, there we go.
So you've got, listen. Wait a second. McCartney made a deal with the Democrats. That's why Gaetz did that, is what I've seen. Yeah, we know that. But do you think that Gaetz didn't make a deal with the Democrats in order to get those votes against McCarthy? You're telling me that Gaetz didn't throw some insurance and protect? They knew they're going to try to expel Gaetz. They have that right. They can get him on ethics violations. I'll get you the statute. Here, let me read you the statute, okay? This will be much easier.
It says all Texas Republicans who voted, McCarthy got support from all Texas Republicans who voted. So let me see if he actually voted.
Well, he did then. If he got support, then he did. He was yes. He affirmed.
He did vote. The only 2 that didn't were Lance Gooden and John Carter.
Makes
Luttrell
sense.
did vote.
Okay. So I gave my daughter the Constitution, and she's got my books. Article 1, Section 5. Listen, Liv.
Yes, I'm listening.
Of the United States Constitution provides that each House of Congress may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with concurrence of 2/3 majority, expel a member. Since 1789, the Senate has expelled only 15 members. Of that number, 14 were expelled during the Civil War for purpose of the Confederacy. In several other cases, the Senate considered expulsion, but either dropped those proceedings or failed to act. The member left office in those cases. Corruption was the primary reason for complaint. Most recently, 1995, Robert M. Packwood, some of you might remember, he was a Republican from Oregon, I believe. Sexual misconduct and abuse of power. 1982, Harrison A. Williams was corruption. He was a Democrat from New Jersey. And then William Langer, 1942, I don't know where he was from, and he was expelled. Those are the expulsions most recently, and several failures. So the House can absolutely do it. I've got Matt Gaetz on here with Laura Ingraham. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Pleading not guilty.
To cut a plea deal with Hunter. That deal counseling. Now his lawyer said for a transcribed in what to do. He said that he's been in California where Hunter
families get back to being
decreasing and
visiting
unthinkable
angels.
money to buy food.
Vitamins and no.
Oh, come on.
Your
atrial fibrillation.
Oh, come on.
aligning with Democrats, and even pals. McCarthy, Congressman Matt Gaetz joins me live. Congressman, thanks for being with us tonight. I want to get right to the criticism.
What did I tell you? What did I say? What did I tell you what time Matt Gaetz was coming on? 7:30. What time's McCarthy? 7:30. That's the way this works. If you don't think this is a giant conflict in the Republican Party right now, you ain't paying attention. Here it is.
That we've been covering that, and the angle made the point that it took your aligning with Democrats and even pals of Liz Cheney and the Republican Party like Ken Buck to produce a result that as of now has no solution. So what's your response to that?
Well, the solution's quite easy. We should get to electing a new, more conservative, more trustworthy speaker immediately. And I'm calling on Patrick McHenry, who currently is the speaker pro tem, to reconsider the decision that he just made to send everyone in Congress home for a week. This is not the time to go home for a week. We should stay and elect a new speaker. That's the path ahead. As far as the criticism that I worked with Democrats, the yellow brick road of working with Democrats was paved by Kevin McCarthy. Whether it was the debt limit deal, whether it was the continuing resolutions, this is a guy who was willing to partner with conservatives on the frivolous, but whenever there was a spending matter, he partnered with Democrats. That said, Speaker McCarthy's time is over. I wish him well. I have no personal animus to him. I hope he finds fruitful pastures, and I'm certain he will. But we've got a job to do here. This is about the job. This is about keeping our commitment to have single subject spending bills and an actual budget for the first time.
Congressman, we've already established tonight that I have been doing this with all due respect, decades longer than you. Okay, you're a young guy. And so I agree with all
I don't believe that, Laura. Did you start when you were like 3? You look too young to
continuing resolutions, the budget, the spending, it's a total nightmare. But the fact of the matter is, y'all don't have the votes. You don't have the margin to get from A to B to C. And so how does this get you closer?
I categorically reject that we don't have the votes for a budget.
Hold on a second, Matt. How do you get closer to all these things that are legitimate concerns when you still have a Senate that says no can do? I mean, you got several senators who are actually completely on the other side on a lot of these issues.
Right.
You still have that to contend with. So how do you get to your nirvana points, which are the conservative holy grail points of governance? The way we're going.
The Senate does not control how the House approaches its spending business.
All right, hold on, Congressman. Hold on, because we got to go to McCarthy.
They're going to overroll with Kevin McCarthy. This is so good.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, if you're going to melt it down, just melt it down right? If you're going to destroy the GOP, then this is how you do it. I mean, if that's our goal, because now they're going to roll over Gaetz, and this was planned, completely planned. Here, when I say this, how do you think I predicted that they were going to start at the exact same time, folks? This is the game. This is the political Potomac two-step. I've been watching politics since I was in high pants, and I'm telling you right now, this is absolutely what a civil war inside of a party looks like. This looks just like 2014. It looks like 2006. It looks like after the Carter splintering in the Democratic Party. This absolutely 100% is going to harm the GOP. And you know what? Good. Do it now. Get this shit done with. Get leadership. Get a freaking RNC party platform established, since we don't have one, by the way. We don't even know what conservatives are. We have no idea. We don't have a party platform. We haven't had one since 2016. We have Donald Trump's vision, which is fantastic. So put it on the charter. Put it on. Get it done. Republicans, you can't tell me what your party stands for because you don't know. It's not limited government. It's not less spending. It's not less taxation. It's not forever wars. It's not a nationalist look. It's a populist look. Please tell me, does this look like a free market? Do they believe in freedom of speech in the Constitution? Really? They voted on spying with the Patriot Act on Americans. They voted to extend it 4 times. Whose party is the Republican Party? I don't recognize it. And I don't recognize liberals either. All right, let's watch this. I want to see Matt Gaetz' face here.
But then you can respond on the other side. Real points of governance. the way
So
we're going.
The Senate does not control how the House approaches its spending business.
All right, hold on, Congressman. Hold on, because we got to go to McCarthy now. He's speaking live, but then you can respond on the other side.
If Reagan gave us advice, he would say, if you believe your principles bring people greater freedom, you should be happy about it. I've always been excited that I've been a happy conservative. But I've always believed that I've been so fortunate to be an American. My journey to this office was something people wouldn't understand. I grew up in a town of Bakersfield, California, the son of a firefighter, the grandson of immigrants. Parents worked hard, the youngest in my family. Didn't have great wealth. When I got out of high school, I didn't have great grades. Couldn't get a scholarship. Went to community college. Flipped cars to try to pay my way through it. Went to visit some buddies away in college for a weekend. Stopped at the grocery store to cash a check, and I won the lottery. One of the first in California. It was before Biden economics. It was only 5,000, but it went much further back then. Took my folks to dinner. Put the majority of the rest of the money into the stock market and did pretty well. The next semester, I took a break from school. I went to buy a franchise, but no one said they would sell me one. I was only 20 years old.
You may not like McCarthy, but you better listen right now because you're going to see the authentic version of McCarthy. He has a blank check that is from the bank of go fuck yourself, and he's about to go ahead and cash it. Listen.
20 years old. But I learned then never to give up. So I opened my own business, selling sandwiches. 3 things I learned. First to work, last to leave, last to be paid. I wanted to finish my college degree. At that time, no one in my family had finished a 4-year degree. I did pretty well. I now had enough money that I could pay my way through school as long as I went to Cal State. So I sold my business, going to school. I opened up the local paper and said, be a summer intern in Washington, D.C. with my local congressman. I did not know this man, but I thought he'd be lucky to have me, so I applied. And you know what he did? He turned me down. But you want to know the end of the story? I got elected to a seat I couldn't get an internship for. I ended up being the 55th Speaker of the House. One of the greatest honors. I loved every minute. And the one thing I will tell you is...
Here it is.
Doing
Here's the other
thing.
side. Here's the other side of that speech. That was all flowers and rainbows. Here comes the gauntlet. And Matt Gaetz better pucker his ass just a little bit because Kevin McCarthy, he is a true believer in FAFO. I have family members who know him personally. Olivia and I have met him. Once you look a man in the eye and put your hand in his hand, you know that person. I've got family members who are personal friends of his. Personal friends. One of the most powerful families in Bakersfield, California are dear friends of Kevin McCarthy. They have visited him in Washington, and he has visited them in Bakersfield. And I'm telling you, he is FAFO. And Matt Gaetz is going to find out what he has won, what lottery he has won.
Easy, but it is necessary. I don't regret standing up for choosing governance over grievance. It is my responsibility. It is my job. I do not regret negotiating. Our government...
Gary Cantrell, if I have to hear you tell me to wake up one more time, bro, I am in this field and I've been doing this for 40 fucking years. You don't get to tell me to wake up because, bro, I have never been asleep. Okay, you finally get the attention you are longing for. I'm giving you the attention because you've said the same thing like 6 times. We understand we're being played. It doesn't mean you don't watch it anyway to find out just a sliver of something that can help us sleep at night. If it's all immaterial and it's all a waste and there's no way we can ever get it back, then why do you even care? Because I still believe in this country. And I may not agree with these guys. I don't idolize these guys, but I understand how the game is played and I'm using my voice. So the next time you want to tell me to wake up, you can dial into the show. You can come on here and you can educate me on what I need to do to wake up. Because I seriously doubt you're going to out me for not understanding or knowing what's taking place. Okay, Gary? Is that cool? Are we copacetic now? Do you need to say it a couple more times tell everyone to wake up because we're being played, I think we understand. There's 534 shows for you to peruse that demonstrate that I'm not sleeping, and another 700 live shows that you can also participate in to understand that I'm not asleep. You sound like the left.
Is designed to find compromise. I don't regret my efforts to build coalitions and find solutions. I was raised to solve problems, not create them. So I may have lost a vote today, but as I walk out of this chamber, I feel fortunate to have served the American people. I leave the speakership with a sense of pride, accomplishment.
What's the real issue? Gary, the real issue is you haven't run for office yet. Get going, get busy. Go take care of it. We're watching something. Haven't you ever heard that when you're watching a movie, you should just chew your popcorn and STFU? Can we please watch this real quick? And then we can go ahead and get to you, you fucking Karen.
And yes, optimism. From the day I entered politics, my mission has always been to make tomorrow better than today. I fought for what I believe in, and I believe in this country of America. My goals have not changed. My ability to fight is just in a different form. You need 218. Unfortunately, 4% of our conference can join all the Democrats and dictate who can be the Republican speaker in this House.
Oh, shit.
I don't think that rule is good for the institution, but apparently I'm the only one. I believe I can continue to fight, maybe in a different manner. I will not run for speaker again. I'll have the conference pick somebody else. I hope you realize that every day I did the job, regardless whether you underestimated me or not, I wanted to do it with a smile. I grew to enjoy you, even on your toughest days and your questions. I could always tell what day it was based upon your question. Monday, you would ask if I could pass the bill. Tuesday was whether the rule would pass. Wednesday was the greatest challenge ever to my speakership. And Thursday, when we passed the bill, you didn't think it was a very big deal. And it all started again on Friday. You know, I wouldn't change a thing. I do believe, I got a new portrait in there too,
Swipe.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Just take the hit.
You all
Do
know
it.
the man in the
See, he's trying. Okay, he's struggling right now with saying that what he wants to say, but is telling himself not to say. So when he looks down like that, if you watch pantomimes of a human being, they look up and to the left, up to the right, down, sideways, or look straight at the camera. These are all little pantomimes that are telling you what they're doing, whether they're going into the cortex of the brain, the creative part of their brain, or the memory portion of their brain. When he's looking down like that, that is a conscientious decision to decide whether to do something or not. So he's trying to figure out, does he want to say what he's about to say? And whether he's going to go thermonuclear on Matt Gaetz, I don't know. But he's got this. If you haven't watched The West Wing, Olivia will tell you. What did Jebediah, isn't it Jebediah?
Jeb. It was,
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah, Jebediah Bartlett. Jeb Bartlett, right?
That was Josiah. And
Josiah, Jeb, right. So what did Josiah Bartlett, whenever you knew he made a decision, what was his tell? But he did it, only the people who were closest to him know. Remember when it was raining when he came back and decided to run for re-election and he walked onto the podium and where did he put his hands?
The side of the podium, right?
In his pockets.
Oh, that's right.
And then he reared back and he got a smile on his face and he got this shit-eating grin. This is very similar to that. Let's see if he does it.
You all know the man in the arena. One of my favorite parts of it, who errs, who comes up short again and again, but there is no effort without error and shortcoming. Who spends himself in a worthy cause, who knows the triumph of high achievement, and if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. I always like to take a risk. Saturday, I took a risk for the American public. Regardless what anybody says, no one knew whether that would pass. The Democrats didn't want that bill. Yes, they pull a fire alarm. Yes, they do their conga line. Yes, they wanted to delay. But it was all for the American people. I could not look the troops in the eye and say I would not pay them. For those who spoke on the floor, I thank them for their positive talks. I don't know what those who voted against and said there was some deal, they were never a part of any deal. For those who said about what we accomplished, I'm proud of what we accomplished. From the Parents' Bill of Rights to our energy bill. But if they want to hold me liable because the Senate didn't take it up or the President didn't take it up, that's politics, for what I know. But the one thing I do know, this country is too great for small visions of those 8. To any child that are listening and who are coming to visit the Capitol, this is a place I want you to visit. I liked opening the Capitol back up again. I liked taking away the metal detectors. I liked committees being able to work. I liked people being able to visit. I hope you liked being able to be back in. I think it was important that members actually show up to work as well. You know, to paraphrase Lou Gehrig, he said, I might have been given a bad break, but I truly still consider myself to be the luckiest man on the face of the earth. There's no other country that you could rise to be the 55th Speaker, not get an internship, and be able to fight for the American public. So it was my greatest honor to be able to do it. I loved my conference well.
He's not going to say it.
I love to be able to ability. I've been a part of the leadership team for quite some time. We won 2 majorities. As leader, I'm proud of the fact we only gained races, only gained seats. I'm proud of the fact as a Republican leader, we elected more women. We elected more minorities. We expanded the base. I'm proud of the fact that for the 5 years I was leader, 2 election cycles, we gained 5 more seats in California, 5 more in New York. We won in places no one thought we could win. The same thing, you would underestimate me. You always said we'd lose each time around. We kept gaining. I intend to make sure that we gain and keep the majority in the next cycle as well.
He's buttering over this. I mean, he's hurt.
I look forward to your positive questions. Yes. Well, I'll look at that.
You still obviously command a lot of loyalty within the conference. We've heard you say approximately 10,000 times that you never give up. So I'm wondering, why not? Why did you make the decision not to put your name forward again and try to grind it out like you did when you won the job in the first place?
You know, you need 218 for the rule, 218 to move forward. And I'll never give up on the American people. That doesn't mean I have to be Speaker to do what I have to do for the American people. There's a lot of things I could do for the American people. But you know what's interesting?
Oh, this might be it.
Everybody's sitting there. In today's...
This might be it. Hold on. There seems to be a debate with how many people are watching. Okay? So let me just tell you. 172 people on Facebook. My Lord.
20 on Rumble.
Thank you. Thank you, darling.
9 on YouTube.
9 on YouTube.
And I don't know about the others.
170 on Facebook. So we got over 200 people watching. Can we watch the movie? Thank you. I appreciate you guys being excited about my numbers, but, you know.
You're sitting in Congress, and you took a gamble to make sure government was still open, and 8 people can throw you out as Speaker, and the Democrats who said they wanted to keep government open, I think you've got a real divide. I think you've got a real institutional problem. Interesting, it was in this room after we had won the majority, I hadn't become Speaker last, and Nancy Pelosi came to me. She was Speaker at the time on the way out. And I told her I was having issues with getting enough votes. And she said, what's the problem? I said, they want this one person can rule you out. She was the only Speaker to have changed that rule. I had the power to call the vote on her, but I never would. I lost some votes because of it. And she said, just give it to him. I'll always back you up. I made the same offer to Boehner and same thing to Paul, because I believe in the institution.
I just want to make a simple point, not because I'm defending Nancy Pelosi, because I think that woman is essentially a wet stain in the gusset. But she had the same disparity in numbers as Kevin McCarthy, and nobody ever voted her out as Speaker. Okay? She never lost a vote. Democrats, to a person, stood in line and voted along party lines whenever Nancy Pelosi told them to. So if you want to look at what the Republican Party should be, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, which are the Democrats as far as how they line up and how they attack a strategy. And you got the Chicago fucking Bears as the GOP. Okay? We need some draft picks. We've got some talent on our team, but we don't have any leadership. You got a bunch of people who are in it for themselves. And if you think Matt Gaetz is all pure as driven snow, I'd love to have him on my show. He was on Timcast. He could come to my show a lot easier. I'm 30 minutes away from him. Tim is an hour and a half, 2 hours. I would love to have Matt on my show, but I'm not going to kiss his ass. I'm not going to put on chapstick before anybody when I interview him. And the thing I'd say to Matt Gaetz is, why the fuck are you fundraising off of this? If you want to be altruistic, if you want to be a man of the people, why are you sending out fundraising notifications to all your constituents to fundraise off of this, you douche plow? That's what I would ask him. And you know what I would expect Matt Gaetz to say? He would answer the question. Listen, it's what we do. And I was like, you know what else we do? We also go ahead and do omnibus bills. We oust the speaker. We go ahead and use political frickin' criminal justice systems to go after the president of the United States and people who disagree with us. We also ask big tech to go ahead and spy on us. We do a lot of things we shouldn't do. Doesn't mean you should do it. I sat down with my daughter and I helped her do her homework yesterday, and it was about being a good citizen and what it meant to be a good citizen of this country. And there were like 12 things. Take care of your fellow man. Be a stand-up human being. Be reliable. Be on time. Contribute to charity. Be a good Christian, or whatever religion it would be, loyal to your God. Vote. Run for office. Those were the things that made a good citizen just a few decades ago. Now, bend them over the table, pop them in the keister, and stab them in the back while you're fucking them. That's the message here tonight. And yes, I'm being vulgar, and yes, I'm using my language, and this is why I will never go mainstream, and I'll never have my own radio show, and I don't give a fuck. I just don't care. Because if you think this is BAU, business as usual, and this is the way this country is supposed to be right now, this isn't. This isn't. This little game of soap opera grab ass does not reflect the American people in any way, shape, or form. This isn't representing us. It's representing them. It's representing their own pockets. It's representing the lining of their own vest with $100 bills. Whether it's Ukraine, whether it's political action committees, whether it's Citizens United, whether it's fucking fundraising off of ousting a speaker that makes us look inept and weak. This isn't what it's designed to do. This is a shit show. It's a banana republic. It's just as bad as the court cases going against Trump. It's going to be just as bad as the ones going against Biden. It's all a fucking game. This started after they killed Kennedy. This happened with Ollie North. This happened with Clarence Thomas. This happened with Bill Clinton, if you want to be honest. Do you know how many frickin' presidents have stood a woman inside the White House? Give me a break. The entire Bill Clinton thing was a farce. The military-industrial complex was pissed off at him for shutting down bases, downsizing the military, taking away ships, and saving on the budget because he did not plan and he didn't balance the budget. He cut military spending. That is why they were pissed at him. And you know what? They have a right. And the real thing is Democrats were losing their seats because he was shutting down military bases in Democrat areas too. So everyone was kind of pissed at Bill Clinton. But you know what? He at least balanced the fucking budget. I don't think he should have taken it out of defense. I think that's a horrible idea. And we had to pay for that. And it made us weaker for 9/11. But at least he balanced it. But this is what we do. We tear down people. And Kevin McCarthy, sure, you want to go ahead and say paying for veterans is a bad thing? He tried to fucking pass a piece of legislation that had a 9% reduction in spending. The border wall would have been funded. Veterans would get their money, and he would have stopped the money going to Ukraine. It would have been out of this bill, or they would have had to do oversight on that spending. That's what Kevin McCarthy gave you. He negotiated that with the Democrats. And Matt Gaetz said, because he didn't get his 12 individual appropriations bill, which he has every right to ask for, he put the frickin' cart before the horse. He cut his nose off to spite his own face. He ousted McCarthy because he did not like that McCarthy didn't keep his word on the 12 appropriation bills, even though they got most of them passed except a couple of them, and Matt Gaetz also stuck a thumb in those too. So I can see both sides of the story here. Do I love McCarthy? No. Do I love Gaetz? No, because I don't love politicians, and that's what gives me clarity. Livy, I love you to death. Thanks for. Did you have something you wanted to chime in here, or do you just want me to stop ranting?
This is not my area of expertise, so I'm just gonna sit here and listen.
Yeah, but you look hot. There
Very
it is.
good. That's the only reason I'm on the show.
Was a political decision by
true.
the Democrats, and I think the things they have done in the past hurt the institution. When they just started removing people from committee, and they just started doing the other things, and my fear is the institution fell today, because you can't do the job if 8 people, you have 94% or 96% of your entire conference, but 8 people can partner with the whole other side. How do you govern? And for them to make a motion on me because I made a decision for the country that they agreed with, but they choose to do the other, that becomes a problem. Yes, sir.
So, one, are you planning on endorsing a successor to you? And then
I might. I might.
You might.
Yeah.
Who would that be?
I don't know who's running yet.
Okay.
I'll talk to people.
And when you look back, is there anything you could have done differently to what those 8 members?
Yeah, a lot of them I helped get elected, so I probably should have picked somebody else.
What if the 200 don't give up on you? I see Jim Banks here. There's others that really, really support you.
You know, we
nominated again. If you keep getting nominated.
You know, I love these 200. They've gone through so much. They're down in the conference. They want me to. They'll say they're going to keep voting for me.
Okay. Christine says, Gaetz just stated he does not intend to run for governor of Florida, but is doing fundraising because he depends on small donors rather than take money from lobbyists or PACs. Whatever. That doesn't impress me much.
I think you should put the country first. You know, this job was never about me. I hope you felt that I always felt, what can we do best to move forward? I mean, I treated Hakeem the way I wanted to be treated. I'd tell him things we were doing throughout, so he never was questioned. I wanted to bring the body back differently. We created a select committee on China. I changed the Intel committee. They just came back from MIT where they all had bipartisan briefing on AI and quantum. Started doing briefings with AI the whole conference of Republicans and Democrats alike. We're far from solving that problem, but I'm proud of what we were able to do there. So we'll continue. Yes, sir.
When did you make this decision? Did you know the motion eventually succeeded that you would not run again, or was this right afterwards?
You know, not all those 8, but these are the same people that never voted for me. They thought it was big. They went to present after we went through 15 rounds. Why do I do something for myself that can hurt the country? Why create? I'm not quite sure those individuals are looking to be productive. It concerns me as a Republican based upon watching what they do. I want to be a Republican and a conservative that governs. And we're going to have to find our way to do that. The challenge is we had so many opportunities. These are the same people that sat on the floor and criticized me that we didn't get all 12 spending bills done, but we first had to do a debt ceiling, that they didn't support. They held up every appropriation bill in the summer because they wouldn't let it come through. After the debt ceiling, they stopped us from doing anything on the floor. When we had a continuing resolution that would do something on the border, I listened to one talk about how it made him think about the border, and when he voted against it. And then they wanted to challenge me because I worked with the other side so America could go forward and government could stay open. You know, if you have to lose for something, I will always lose for the country. It is a much better battle to have.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes, sir.
Mr. McCarthy, doing this job, what advice do you have for the next speaker? What would you like to see the next speaker?
Change the rules.
Do you regret allowing that rule to be in place?
Do you think I let it? I mean, for the whole point, I mean, if you talk about like a Gates, the Gates came to the whole conference and said, we will never use this. We'll never use this, you know. I mean, this is a man that sat there on the 14th vote and said, okay,
Here it is.
I'm going to vote for you next time.
This is what he wasn't going to say. Now he's going to say it. See, it takes a while, but you can understand the pentameter of speech. Now, the press has pissed him off enough where he's now going to lambast and go after Gates, which is really all I wanted to hear because I wanted to hear this. But here's the honest part.
It falls back and not. So, I mean, it's just the trustworthiness of a lot of individuals. It makes it difficult. But I do not think, regardless of who the speaker is, that you should have that rule. You know, everybody had it but Pelosi, but it was never used until it started getting used against Boehner. And if the entire other, if you can always count on the other party to vote in a block against it, then you're allowing 4 to 5 people to control whatever. So it doesn't matter even if you have 96%. So that is not a government that works. That is chaotic.
Mr. McCarthy, Mr. McCarthy,
Yeah.
is the Republican Party
Okay, wait, go right ahead.
I hear you talking about the challenge of governing, the challenge of the Republicans. I wonder what you think this means, what this says about the Republican Party.
I don't think it says about the Republican Party. I think it says something about some people who are not a conservative. I mean, if you were conservative and you only had one entity making the battle and you vote against securing the border, you vote against cutting this wasteful spending, and then you partner with all the Democrats. Now, you'll phrase it all the other different ways. That's not a conservative. Look, you all know Matt Gaetz. You know it was personal. It had nothing to do about spending. It had nothing to do about everything he accused somebody of he was doing. It all was about getting attention from you.
This is what he wasn't going to say.
We're getting email fundraisers from him as he's doing it.
That's correct.
Join in
I got
quickly.
mine.
That's not governing.
They know how much I've given. So they hit me up on fundraising. And that's the only reason I've given. And the reason I gave was ordered to go ahead and get these things. And I get these blasts from Democrats and Republicans for a reason. And they sell each other's lists to each other. But the moment this happened, I got blasted by Matt Gaetz. And it's just, listen, you don't have to like Kevin McCarthy, but you should listen to him because he has 50% of the story. And that 50% is fairly accurate. Matt Gaetz is not the hero in this. Now you might go, oh, well, we hate, he's a rhino. Yet you think anyone who doesn't support Trump 100% is a rhino, okay? He's a neocon. You can't even define what neocon is. Knock it off. Focus on the things that truly matter. This guy went across the aisle and burnt the city to the ground. And he went over to Democrats and said, fine, I'll sign it. Let's go. Let's push it forward. And he told his troops to sign. And the reason why is because he gave you a bill that hadn't been proposed in 60 years. A reduction in spending to the previous year's budget by 9%. And it wasn't good enough. We're not conservative anymore. There is no conservative party. Give me a break. It's non-existent. So if you're like, oh, this guy goes against, he's a rhino. You're not a Republican. Tell me what a Republican means. Tell me what, list it right now. List it down here or come on the show. Here's the thing. Here's the link. Come on the show and you define what a Republican is. Please. A conservative Republican. Tell me what it is. And I'm going to tell you each time why you're full of shit. Because you don't know what a Republican is. I don't know. If I don't know, trust me, you don't know. You don't know because conservatism is dead. The Republican Party spends as much as Democrats. They had a 9% reduction proposal and they threw it away. Can you imagine what that would have done to go and say, we got things freaking passed in one of the worst spending decades in U.S. history? We got a reduction of 10% and we fought the fight and we won. What? Matt Gaetz said, nope, I don't think so. So don't sit here and tell me that Matt Gaetz is all for the people. Yes, we have to get spending under control. There was a bill proposed. That continuing resolution got spending down. And that's something you can build off because then it's a two-way swing. It's like a home-at-home series in a game. Olivia will tell you what that means.
Oh, I'm supposed to tell you what it means.
What's a home-and-home series?
Home and home. In hockey, it means two teams play each other 2 nights in a row. One night it's at one building and the other night it's at...
And if that person's in playoff contention, what does it mean? It becomes a what type game?
4-point swing.
4-point swing. So when you have a 9% reduction in the budget, not only do they need to ask for 9%, but also the additional. So it's like a 20% reduction if you think about it, because the next year they have to close that. They have to have the balls to ask for that 9% back. And because they're Democrats, they're going to ask for another 10%. A 20% reduction in the deficit. And Matt Gaetz didn't support it. Don't give me a fucking, don't sit here and tell me that Matt Gaetz is for the people today. Okay? You can tell me that Kevin McCarthy is a rhino. You can tell me he's establishment Republican. All that's true. And I agree with you. But don't sit there and tell me that you're peeing on me and tell me it's raining that Matt Gaetz is a hero. He's not a hero. Not at all. Because if he was a hero, he would run for speaker. Because if you have the balls to question somebody else's job and question how they do it, then you should stand up and take the job. But he won't. He won't. Watch.
That's not becoming of a member of Congress. And regardless of what you think, I've seen the text. It was all about his ethics. But that's all right.
Mr. Murphy, can I just clarify really quickly from the first question? Are you considering resigning?
No, I said, he asked about that. I haven't thought about that. I said, yeah.
And then just on where you're placing the blame, you said the institution is...
Look. No.
Yeah, dude, Bobby coming in. Here he is. Because Bobby's so tough, he has to censor himself. Don't you love these guys who self-censor? Let's put it on the show. Bobby can't pick up the phone and call. Bobby probably doesn't even have a phone. Shut the F-star up, your liberal talking head. You should be thankful that we got rid of that turncoat son of a gun. Wow, bro. Why didn't you call him a macaroni butt while you're at it?
Son of a gun.
He's a noodle head. Dude, why do you idiots believe that anybody that sees the middle of the road and can see two sides of a story is a fucking rhino? Why?
Isn't that the point? Is to get something done, you're gonna have to reach across the aisle and try. I mean, otherwise nothing's gonna get done.
Dude, brother, something you need to know about yourself. You're a fucking liberal, you idiot. Classic liberalism. Have you ever heard of it? It's what the Conservative Party was founded on, jackass. What happened in 1940? Who proposed Social Security? Who proposed WIC? Who proposed welfare? Yeah, Republicans. And you know what we did? We learned from our lesson that you don't nanny tit the citizenry of this country, and we moved from it. You don't know anything about the Conservative Party. You know nothing about liberals. You're just a fucking brainless automaton who watches the same news media every day and you think you know something. You're a surface level thinker. You came on my show. If you did, I would dissect you in a matter of seconds because you're a surface level thinker. Because if the biggest insult you have to give me is that I'm a liberal, you wouldn't stand a fucking chance. You can call me lofty. You can say that I don't see the forest through the trees. You can say I'm arrogant. You can say my cheeks are chubby. You can say this is the sexiest beard you've ever seen. And it is. You can say a lot of things.
You can say he's got a really hot wife.
You could say that too. And she likes mustache rides. And she gets them often. You could say a lot of things. But what you can't do is call me a fucking liberal because you're too dumb to understand what I'm saying. But this is your normal. This is your freaking Jamal Bowman Poll in case of an emergency, liberal, and then censor yourself like you're a fucking idiot. You can cuss here, dude. You know you can cuss in Facebook. It's okay. You just can't hate. You just can't be a bully. You just can't threaten. But if you want to say fuck you to me, you can say that. Nobody's going to report you, you self-censoring, pretentious douchebag. Yeah, this is not the night, bro. This is not the night to come in here and start fucking, trading barbs. You're going to lose. Call in the show. Reach down. Look at your wife if you have one. Go into her purse. Grab and fish out your balls. Reattach them. And then find your spine in her handbag as well. And come on the show and tell me I'm a fucking liberal. Tell me what a liberal means. Define what the word liberal means. I would challenge you to do that and put it in your own words.
No. I'm not going to blame anybody. There's not blame anywhere. Look, I give it as good as I get it, right? So it's you know the challenge. I knew going in. You would take a poll all the time. Is he going to get thrown out this week? But you know what? If I lose my job over doing what I truly believe what's right, I'm very at peace with it. You asked earlier, like, when did I decide? I knew they would make the motion on me. It didn't make one bit of difference. I felt very comfortable in that decision. And I think the American public believed that decision was right. That's the conference's decision.
Mr. McCarthy, now, you mentioned that you were looking to maybe help this bill in another way. Would you consider having a position somewhere in Congress, whether it's in leadership or the chairman? Can you talk about that?
No. There's a lot of great people in conference. There's always other people to do jobs. It is amazing the talent that we had. And the one thing I've always hoped as speaker that we lifted more of that talent up. I look at people doing that. You can look at all of our.
He's time filling. So Matt Gaetz gets bumped off the 7 o'clock hour. I'm telling you, this had nothing to do with Kevin McCarthy's ego. It had everything to do with Matt Gaetz was on Fox. I'm just telling you right now.
No. And I have a lot of respect for Hakeem.
All right, we'll continue to monitor that. But back with me now is Congressman Matt Gaetz. Congressman, I know you've been listening in to former Speaker McCarthy's comments.
10 minutes.
He was on for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
so
but I
gives
get
him 10 minutes.
Kevin McCarthy knows what prime time is, right?
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Not a real conservative because you don't want to govern conservatively. He also said that this really was personal, intimating that you're really PO'd, that he didn't step in and put down that ethics investigation into you. And he knows it's personal, and you know it's personal. And you say?
That's totally false. I'm the most investigated man in the entire United States Congress. I've been cleared by the FBI, DOJ, the Federal Election Commission.
But you don't think that McCarthy did enough to stop this? I mean, wasn't that well known that you were mad that he didn't do enough to stop that investigation? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being mad, by the way.
I'm not. By the way, the beginning of Speaker McCarthy's comments there were lovely and nice about his past and his history. But when he says we're not conservative because we didn't vote to secure the border, I think that does merit a response. We passed a Department of Homeland Security border bill that would have required E-Verify with a host of other reforms. Then, on a continuing resolution, Kevin McCarthy wanted us to surrender every other fight. Jack Smith, weaponized government, everything else going on just to isolate the border thing. Now, I don't believe that the way conservatives get ahead is surrendering everything but the border in order to address the border. And I don't think that the way to address the border is to pass E-Verify and then say that the strong border position is the abandonment of E-Verify in a vote that occurs 14 hours later.
Well, you're not going to get the border done like the way we want to do it until you get the numbers. You're not going to get that border. You're not going to get what you want on the border. None of us are until you get the numbers in the House and you kick out some of these senators.
Well, I don't think we're going to get, frankly, Laura, I think it's worse than that. I don't think we're going to secure the border until we have the White House. But I also want to address this notion that we aren't conservatives, right? Because what Kevin McCarthy believes about governing is that we have to utilize these continuing resolutions. And if the continuing resolution is conservative enough, if you hang some bells and whistles on it, that really ought to pacify
10% is not a bell and whistle,
right-leaning throughout the country. I believe that the only way to achieve programmatic reform and to put downward pressure on spending is to do what was done back in the 90s, where every individual bill is conferenced and debated and subject to amendment. And of course, you have to compromise. And of course, you
see, okay. Olivia, what's wrong with what he just said? Let's see if you can smell the lie like a fart in a car. when he says, I think the way we move forward is this, what is he saying, essentially?
That his opinion is the only thing that matters.
That's it. There you go. And then the next word out of his mouth is compromise. This is where Matt Gaetz and I have a problem. He doesn't like Kevin McCarthy's ideas, which is fine because I'm not a big fan of him either. But what he's saying is my idea is better than yours, so I'm going to have you removed because my idea is the only idea that will work. Yes, appropriations bills should be broken up. No more omnibus bill, no more pork barrel politics, individual bills which are looked at a singular basis. Yes, a programmatic response and step-by-step resolution to appropriate and fund the U.S. government is needed. Agreed. But we still have to get the border funded. We still have to take care of the vets. We still have to go ahead and decrease spending. And now none of that happens. You don't get the appropriations bill. So it's a fallacy argument. You know you weren't going to get those bills done in time. You know you had 3 weeks to get them done. It wasn't going to happen. Yes, you've been working on them for a long time, but you also resisted and struck most of those things down and those proposals down that Kevin McCarthy and the House GOP establishment put forward. Yes, you did. And you did it too often. Everything they put forward, you struck down. That creates a stagnant government, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But what you don't get to do is complain about it and then throw away a funded border because those are lives. You can just say whatever you want. Matt Gaetz can say whatever he wants. He can say it's not important, but people will die because he didn't do what he said he was going to do. And Republicans absolutely affirmed and were committed to getting the border fixed. Well, guess what? That's not going to happen. How many people are going to die in the next 45 days because we're not properly funded and we have not stopped the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigration into this country? Another thing we heard last night that I loved, if the 20 million people who have come here illegally are so star-spangled fucking awesome, then why don't they stay in their own country and make it better?
Or no, it was
that's what he said. If the 20% are going to help America, why can't they stay in their own country and help themselves?
Economy, if they're supposed to help our economy.
Why can't they stay in their country and help their own?
Yep.
So Matt Gaetz doesn't get to sit here and be holier than thou. I hit Kevin McCarthy, and I'll continue to hit Kevin McCarthy. But I'm not going to sit here and say that Matt Gaetz is the great white hope. What he just did is he held a hostage. Him and the party of 8 held the government hostage. And Democrats got everything they wanted. Democrats got everything they wanted and more. They get to go ahead and reign this as a win for them.
Of course, you have to compromise. And of course, you have to govern. Matter of fact, just last week, I voted for 4 appropriations bills after my amendments were largely defeated by House moderates to put further pressure on spending.
That point was made, but they're making a point tonight, Congressman. We only have limited time, so if you don't mind me moving on. But
oh my God, Robert Sager's back again with ladies and gentlemen, it's Robert Sager hour, and he's going to part his knowledge. Is he censoring himself too? No, not this time. Here it is. You know what is funny? No, but I have a feeling you're going to tell me. By the way, an ellipsis is 3 dots. If you're going to continue your conversation, kind of like a continuing resolution, you're going to want to use 3 dots. FYI, Roberto. Here it is. Is McCarthy was kicked out within 48 hours? It's been, actually, no, that's not true. And it's taken 3.5 years to get to the Biden crime family. Seems a little suspicious, I had to say. You're comparing impeaching the president of the United States, who cannot be held for any criminal responsibilities while president unless is impeached and removed. And you aren't going to get any of that because nobody's going to remove him from the Senate. So you want to impeach him and give a bump in favorability that Nixon saw, Clinton saw, and Donald Trump saw twice while he was impeached, and help Joe Biden in 2024 by impeaching him. That will go nowhere. And you're going to compare that to removing somebody in the House from the House? One of the easiest things that you can possibly do is remove a speaker. It takes a 2/3 majority, and the opposition party is always going to vote in favor of that if that person is not popular. It just isn't done. Because now we've set another precedence. Speakers are going to get voted out like this all the time. Don't you understand that every time we play grab ass and do something stupid, all we're doing is giving permission for the other side to do the same thing? Just like all the DOJ investigations that have your panties up in a bunch, Roberto, that you're upset about with Donald Trump, they're going to be doing the same thing to Biden, and then they're going to do it to our guy. And that's the way this works. So when you say the Biden crime family, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't give a shit about Hunter Biden. I don't care. Let the DAs take care of that. Put him in jail. I don't care. He's not running for office. I want to know what Biden did. And guess what? There are 2 special counsels investigating Biden right now. One for pay to play and the other is the document scandal. What else do you want done? Oh, well, they're not going to find anything. How do you know? Why don't you wait? 6 months ago, we said Hunter Biden was not going to be touched. Well, he's got 3 counts coming against him. He just pled not guilty, which means it's going to go to trial. Now discovery takes place. Now all those records are going to get released. Hunter Biden is the dumbest son of a bitch ever. He should go ahead and take his fines and take the charges so they don't get discovery. But now we got discovery because it's going to trial. So if you think that something's not going to out from that, it will. If you don't think that's going to lead to more investigations, it will. That's the way this works. But for you to sit here and say, well, they haven't ousted the president of the United States, it's a little harder than that, brah. Holy Lord. What's your argument? Who are you mad at? Lay back on the couch. Let's like bring this back to your parents. Tell me what's wrong. Does your dad not play catch with you? What is it? Why are you here? Is it to upset me? Okay, here it is.
That point about what you did last week, but look, I think the concern here is that people are seeing your fundraisers instantly going out about this. You're raising money, and it is chaos
I'm eager
right
to
now.
address that.
And
yeah, let's address
is it
the
not
fundraising.
a fundraiser? I think we have a full screen of it. Yeah. Is it a fundraiser or not? And everybody fundraises. Again, I'm not just saying. By the way, that is another criticism of what's going on.
If I can get a word in here. Yeah, if I can get a word in here. I am the only Republican in the entire United States Congress who takes no lobbyist money and no PAC money. So absolutely, I communicate daily, vigorously with regular Americans, because the only way I'm able to advance my political goals is if just regular folks give me $10, $20, $30. And so I will take no lecture from the likes of people who do 3 lobbyist fundraisers a day and trade favors in order to get cash from special interests on how I raise money. And I take deep offense to anyone who wants to criticize the mailman, the active duty service member, the grandmother who believes in me and goes to MacGates.com to donate. Matter of fact, I hope they do that right now.
Dude, this guy is a master at gaslighting and head fucking anyone. He's good. He's fantastic. And honestly, he is a wordsmith beyond reproach. And he very much reminds me of me. Before I had ethics. Matt Gaetz one day is going to wake up and realize that having friends and family around you are a hell of a lot more important than being popular. And woe will be the day when, and lament will be the day when he has to learn that. But what he just did right there just told you what this was all about. You know what he should have said? Listen, I have people who run my campaign fundraise. I didn't approve that. They're out fundraising for me. That's the way it is. You know how this game's played. But the moment I saw those, I asked them to stop, because you don't traipse over somebody's corpse. That would have been a good line. But for him to sit here and say, if you think that the civil worker and the policeman and the veteran and the cook at the elementary school can't go to mattgates.com and ask for it, you know what? He just told you what he's doing. He just told you why he did it. I'm going to put up Matt Gaetz' website so you guys can go fundraise for him if you want to.
Not
he earned it
at all, because I won't take the lobbyist and PAC money like every other person here does.
Well, I think that's awesome that you don't. I think it's fantastic.
I do too.
By the way, do you plan to stay in the House? Are you planning? Have you thought
going for governor of Florida?
For office, like maybe the governor's race in 2026? What is your thought there?
You know what, Laura? I think I'm exactly where I need to be, doing exactly what I need to be doing.
If you guys want to, there's gates.house.gov. You can go there and fundraise. Go to Gaetz and find out his website. I won't put his website up because I don't endorse candidates, but you can go find out about them there if you want to go ahead and give him some money. Yeah, I at least want to make sure that you know, I give him his proper due.
Doing is ensuring that we have what's that?
You're not thinking about it at all? I mean, come on. You're an ambitious guy. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. But why are we playing cute here?
I'm not running for governor in 2026. I am here serving in the House in 2023 trying to get a budget. Why is it that when I'm trying to get a budget and single subject bills and a return to pre-COVID spending, all everyone's interested is in a political race that's 3 years from now? I am here doing this job. My voters elected me to do this, and that is what I've endeavored to do, at times with a very small group of people, but dedicated people, because we have to send a shockwave through Washington, D.C.
Well,
we have to change this town. We have to change this system.
Congressman, President Trump took to Truth Social this afternoon, and he said that why is it the Republicans are always fighting among themselves? Why aren't they fighting the radical left Democrats who are...
And that is the Donald Trump from 2016 with a based, very honest and open criticism that is valid. Why are we not going after Democrats? That's the Donald Trump that I want to see every single day of the week. Liv, what do you think about what he said?
I think it's great. It definitely reminds me of the old Trump.
Be nice to see that.
I think we should mark the date and the time that Gates just said, I am not running for governor in 2026.
No. That's not what he said. Listen. Watch this. Can I tell you what he did with political talk? Am I the only person that caught it?
You may have been, because it sure sounded like
boys
I'm
and
not
girls.
running for
Let me teach you
governor
something.
in 2026.
Let me teach you something. I don't think people caught this. Liv, ask me what Laura Ingraham said when she's like, oh, come on. Like, you're not running for governor in 2026?
Oh, come on. You're not running for governor in 2026?
I'm not running for governor in 2026. I'm a congressman in 2023. Do you understand?
It deflects the...
No. It doesn't deflect. He simply said, it's not 2026 right now, and I'm not the governor running. I'm a congressman in 2023, and that's what he'll say. Even though he said I'm not running, that's not what he said in the context, because go listen to it again. See, I'm going to teach you a little bit about wordsmithing.
But spending, all everyone's interested is in a political race that's 3 years from now. I am here doing this job. My voters elected me to do this, and that is what I've endeavored to do.
No, he didn't go around it. He went right through it. He changed the context of the conversation as one that was a future conversation to the one that he's saying, it's not the present time. I'm not running for governor in 2026 right now because it's not 2026, it's 2023. That's what he said. Listen again.
Yes, and that is what I've endeavored to do, at times with a very small group of people, but dedicated people, because we have to send a shockwave through Washington, D.C.
Well,
we
you
have to
definitely
change
did
this
that.
town. We have to change this system.
Congressman, President Trump took to Truth Social this afternoon.
Oh, that wasn't it.
And he...
Hold on.
Why is it that when I'm trying to... other person here does?
Well, I think that's awesome that you don't. I think it's fantastic. By the way, do you plan to stay in the House? Are you planning, have you thought of running for office, like maybe the governor's race in 2026? What is your thought there?
You know what, Laura? I think I'm exactly where I need to be, doing exactly what
Listen
I need
close.
to be doing. What I
You're
need
not
to be
thinking about it at
doing
all.
is ensuring that we have... What's that?
You're not thinking about it at all? I mean, come on. You're an
I
ambitious
am doing
guy. And
this
again,
job.
there's nothing
Look,
wrong with
every
it. But why are we
politician-
playing cute here?
I'm not running for governor in 2026. I am here serving in the House in 2023, trying to get a budget. Why is it that when I'm trying to get a budget and single subject bills and a return to pre-COVID spending, all everyone's interested is in a political race that's 3 years from now?
Boom. Do you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear the difference? So when they're going to say, well, you promised not to run for governor, you're like, no, I didn't. What I was telling Laura Ingraham is, why are you worried about 3 years from now? We're not in 3 years. It's 2023, not 2026. It's a perfect answer to a question. This guy is a master at what he does. Matt Gaetz is hands down one of the best car salesmen I've ever seen in my life. And the reason why I know that is because I am. I've been one of the most successful retail salesperson that you've ever met in your life. I could sell anything to anyone. I'm a multi-million-dollar salesman over and over. I am a $100 million salesman for Apple, and I'm a $2.2 billion salesman for Comcast. And I'm telling you, Matt Gaetz is a salesman, and he's damn good. And honestly, I would love to debate a topic with Matt Gaetz where he wasn't absolutely the expert in and I wasn't the expert in. A general knowledge topic, because that would be a debate. And it would be a good one. But there's things I'm not going to touch him on because he knows a ton more than me when it comes to certain things. And I know for a fact, I know a shit ton more than he does on certain things. I like Matt Gaetz. I like how he's a fireball. I like how he's tough. I like how he can out-wordsmith anybody. But he's also full of shit as a Christmas goose. And if you think this was anything but personal and a fundraising trip, you're absolutely insane. This was not for the American people. The continued resolution was for the American people.
I am here doing this job. My voters elected me.
Said that why is it the Republicans are always fighting among themselves? Why aren't they fighting the radical left Democrats who are destroying our country? Now, I know you've had conversations with President Trump, and you intimated that he was, you understood where he was coming from, and it seemed to indicate that maybe he was in favor of what you were doing, but wasn't going to say so publicly.
Laura Ingraham doesn't like Matt Gaetz. Either does Mark Levin. Mark Levin tore after Gaetz on Laura Ingram's show a few nights ago. She doesn't like him. She thinks he's a pompous dick. And she's obviously showing that in this show. Olivia and I are going to go in like 5 minutes, but I just wanted to finish this up.
To say so publicly. What can you tell us tonight, since he really is the leader of the party and you are a MAGA Republican and he's the top dog? So what do you say?
Absolutely. I support President Trump, eager to campaign with him. Probably our private conversations I'm going to keep to us, but I think I'm in pretty good stead with the former president. You'll see me on the campaign trail with him soon. And by the way, you know who you won't see on the campaign trail at a big rally? Kevin McCarthy. Because if Kevin McCarthy took the stage at a Trump rally, he would be booed off of it like Lindsey Graham.
Well, Congressman, do you think that, let's say next year, and who knows how this is all going to play out, but next year, November, whatever it is, 8th, 5th, 6th, Republicans lose the House of Representatives because Democrats think this is going to help them. They wanted McCarthy out. The Democrats wanted McCarthy out just as much, looks like, as you did. So let's say Republicans lose the House. Will you feel any regret for having done what you did today?
Absolutely not. I believe that we were destined to lose the House if we didn't do what we did today because we didn't give anyone something to believe in. I've traveled all over this country, and I have seen the despondence and the sadness in conservatives who don't believe that Republicans in Congress are fighting enough for them. Half of your monologues every night are about the failures of House conservatives to really dig in and fight. You are in many ways a true north to try to help us focus on the things that matter in these contentious debates and discussions over legislation. But you know what?
Listen,
we're not going to lose the House.
Laura Ingraham is a lot of things, but you cannot play flip up her skirt with her. She don't want your compliments. She doesn't need it. She's a secure woman. She's a beautiful woman. She's a smart woman. I don't always agree with her, and I think she's definitely off the rails sometimes, but you're not gonna flatter her. So Gaetz trying to do that right now is not gonna work. I would hope that there's a smart ass comment coming right after, like, you know what, I'm married, Matt. It's okay. You don't need to try so hard or something like that. That would be priceless.
People to victory who probably wouldn't have deserved it otherwise. But that's what happened in 2016. 2020 was another good year for Republicans at the congressional level. So when Trump's on the ballot, we do pretty well, and I suspect that we'll do well when he's our nominee.
Congressman, we really appreciate you responding to McCarthy and joining us tonight. Thank you so much. All right, back in the now, Charlie Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor, Fox News contributor. Charlie, a reaction to what you just heard from Gaetz.
Well, of course, all the issues that Matt Gaetz is talking about, he's not wrong about it. I mean, when it comes to single issue voting on, single issue legislation, regular order for bills, spending bills, he's not wrong about that. And it's something that, as we mentioned a minute ago, you and I have been talking about a long time. The question is, where do we go from now? And even if you get somebody who is Speaker McCarthy or better, you're still in the same situation that we were in before he was ousted. So, not that I think that this issue is going to wind up being something that's going to define the election or is going to somehow help Democrats. I don't think that's going to happen. But, you turn to somebody like Steve Scalise, who, let's not forget, was nearly murdered by a violent extremist Democrat.
Yeah, Steve has cancer. He's not going to.
And if we want to go forward and make Steve Scalise, who is the face of Democrat violent extremism, and have that be what we talk about in the next election, I think that might be actually not a bad thing.
Do you agree with Gaetz? And his point is that Republican voters aren't pumped up enough because they think there's a lot of sellouts on the Hill.
All right. I think we got enough. Listen, I hope everyone understands that there's still an ethics committee pending for Matt Gaetz that was opened by Kevin McCarthy, and says it wasn't, but it absolutely was. There are still rumors that they're pushing to expel Matt Gaetz, which I think would be even more damaging and give Democrats exactly what they want yet again. And although you may not like Kevin McCarthy, he does have his value. And although you may not like Matt Gaetz, he also has his value. Because here's the truth about this whole thing. I'm going to let Olivia say her thing, then we're going to go. Is they're both right and they're both wrong. And that happens a lot. And you can't sit here and be myopic in your thought process and simply just say, oh, Kevin McCarthy is this, therefore Matt is this. That's not the way it works. Just because you don't like Kevin doesn't mean you have to love Matt Gaetz. You can see that they both screwed up here. We were stronger with Kevin McCarthy and Matt Gaetz in the positions that they were. Kevin McCarthy should have stopped the arrogance and realized that the majority, which is mob rule, is not what this republic is about. Is that every state has a voice. Every individual has the right. And Matt Gaetz has every right as one individual in a House of 432 to go ahead and do exactly what he just did. Exactly what he just did. He has every right. Does it make it right? No. But he has every right. And Matt Gaetz needs to realize that that was the speaker. And if you didn't want him as speaker, you should have never allowed that vote to take place. Knowing full well that you promised that you weren't going to use that piece of legislation, that rule to oust McCarthy, that it was a nuclear option, and you decided that you were going to use it today, use it the other day when you announced it, and push the vote today because you didn't like that McCarthy did not do enough to stand up for you for the ethics violations in the ethics committee, that he did not jump in line to do exactly what you wanted when it came to the appropriation bills. And you were a thorn in his side for these bills, and you were the one reason that it was blocked. And in the end, we can say all of that, and it comes down to this. Here's the truth. Matt Gaetz did not support a 9% reduction in spending to get back to pre-COVID levels, to do a continued resolution that was not the exact same thing that they've been doing for the last 20 years, get the border wall funded, get oversight into Ukraine spending, which is exactly what we want. Matt Gaetz stopped that from happening. Now, you can sit here and say that he was right or he was wrong, but that's what took place. And don't tell me that was for the American people. That's it. Liv, you got anything? What do you think about all this? Is any of this interesting?
Depends. Political arena is not my area. That's why when it's just pure politics, I'm not talkative.
What do you think about them pushing Steve Scalise? Because Steve Scalise was just diagnosed with cancer, a beatable cancer, mind you.
Well, he's tough for coming back after he was shot, and he's still in with cancer. So he's an establishment Republican, I think. So I think at this point that they're going to want to put someone in that they know they can control. And that will, they either have something on him or her, or they know that they'll do exactly what they want this person to do.
Yeah, because I'm not surprised. Steve Scalise said no back a while ago. Did he say no again?
I don't know. I didn't even know
because that's
he
pretty
had said
quick.
no before.
No, I was talking to the users because that was pretty quick. Because they just ousted Kevin McCarthy at like 5:30, 5 o'clock, 4:30, somewhere around there. That's pretty fast to get an interview with Steve Scalise. So I don't know. All I know is that he turned it down before. I think everyone's turned it down. Nobody wants the speakership. And the reason why is because nobody wants to lead this current Republican class. Because they are an absolute quagmire. I happen to agree with Charlie Hurt. This isn't going to affect the election. This is done now. And honestly, they can use it as a sideways compliment. Republicans aren't afraid to hold their own accountable. That's how you spin it. Democrats don't do that. Democrats stand in line and they all get in line like little clones. They don't have free thought in the Democrat Party, but Republicans, we do. And when we see something that we don't agree with, we stand up on our feet. How do I feel about Donalds? I think he's fine. I don't think he's speaker. I don't think there's somebody, a Republican, who could actually do the job effectively. I think Steve Scalise can do it. I've always thought Steve Scalise would be a great speaker. He's tough. He's well respected on both sides. And even the Freedom Caucus, although consider him establishment Republicans, still respect him. I don't know. I don't have any idea, because I don't look at it as who's popular. I look at who's the most qualified. And if I was going to say who the most qualified was, I would want Rand Paul to go ahead and run for state legislature and make him the speaker. And you can do that. He gives up his seat. You don't have to be a state legislature in order to be speaker. You don't have to at all. They can nominate anyone. That's where people are saying Trump. So you got to find a way to find somebody. You want to know who would make a great speaker? You want to know? I'll tell you. Oh my gosh, I know. Who's the guy I love on the 5?
Greg.
No.
Oh, him.
Why do I always forget his name? And I love him.
Was it Harold something?
Harold
Something Jr. I don't remember his last name.
I don't know why I want to say Harold Ramis, but that's Stripes. Harold Ford Jr., right?
Yes, that's it.
That him. You make him a speaker. Have you actually listened to that guy?
Yes.
I'm talking to them. If you guys listen to it, really listen to Harold Ford Jr., and I don't know why, but it's just a name I know he's a Democrat. I'm very well aware he's a Democrat. Yep. I know he's a Democrat. Harold Ford Jr., he's a Democrat. I'm very well aware. But you know what he is? He's a blue-collar Democrat. He's a Reagan Democrat. That's who he is. He is balanced. I know he's a Democrat. Why do you guys assume that because he's a Democrat, he's not going to do what's right for America? We've got to get over this. You know, there's actually some Democrats who aren't completely batshit crazy, right? Do you understand their party's going through the same thing that our party's going with? You know, the Squad and the Socialist Progressive Movement isn't what the Democrats want to be. Nancy Pelosi fought it hook, line, and sinker. I don't care. I don't care if he's a Democrat. I don't care. Why do you? You don't even know what your party platform is. Somebody call. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do it one more time. I know. Livia wants to go. Too bad. Here it is. See that? That's Matt Gaetz. Go fundraise for Matt Gaetz. Go give him some money. I forgot I carbon copied something else. Here it is. You like RFK? RFK is about as liberal as they come. I'm not even going to entertain that conversation. Everyone needs to get that shit out of their mouth, because we need everyone who's a Biden supporter voting for RFK. There's my show. You tell me what the Conservative Party platform is. Republican Party platform. What is our platform? And I'll give you $10,000. Right now, that's the Pepsi challenge. $10,000 cash to the 150 some odd people are on. Tell me what the Republican Party platform is that wasn't written in 2016. What is the current party platform? $10,000 cash. Nope. Small government, constitutional law. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Nope. That's not it. Not it at all. There's nothing that says that. Wait a second. Wait. Harold Jr.'s pro-open border? No, he's not. Where did you get that? Where do you get that he's pro-open border? Do you guys... Okay. Can we just say something about the border? The rules of the border and the overall investment that Democrats are making certainly are not equivalent to Trump or what Republicans want. But do you really believe that the Democrats have defunded the Border Patrol and removed everybody and are just allowing people to come in? Is that what you really think is happening? Do you guys really watch that much Fox News to believe that that's what's taking place? Yes, there is illegal immigration. Yes, they have not invested nearly enough. No, they are not doing everything they can to ultimately stop it. Yes, they need to put some things back in place that make legal immigration an easier process. But do you really believe we have open borders? Is that what you think? Because I'm going to challenge you to go to Mexico and go ahead and come back in. Let me know how that works out. I want to get back to the question. Please tell me what the party principles are. What is the Republican Party platform? Conservatives and Republicans, tell me now. I know you've all looked it up. Harold Ford Jr. is not open borders. That's a ridiculous comment. He is very conservative. Socially, he's liberal. So am I. Fiscally, And based on the law, he's extremely conservative. No, the Republican Party does not have a platform. It's the easiest $10,000 I will never have to give out. So when I tell you, and when you say you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're a rhino, you don't even know what it means because you don't have a party platform. We don't have a party platform. We don't know what we stand for anymore. We don't stand for anything anymore because we don't know who we are. You know where you come down on abortion. You know where you come down on guns, freedom of speech. That's easy. That's the easy stuff. It's the right side of right, okay? That's easy. But where do we come to fiscal responsibility? Where do we come to big government? Where do we come to taxation? Where do we go with spending? Where do we go with family values? Please tell me the last Republican bill that has been focused on family values. Please tell me. Colleen Stewart, that's right, she's a fan. She wants to leave and come back into the United States. She can't get in. If you don't have someone to help you get over that border, your ass is going to drown or your ass is going to get caught in barbed wire. So listen, this was a surprise show. I don't know whether you guys know this, but I did one hell of a show. And I really hope you go and watch it. And it breaks down the trial on Donald Trump. And it walks you through it. Episode 534. I would like it if everybody, all 117, I don't want you to buy anything. I don't want you to give me any money. I don't want you to join the Dumb Nation group. I don't want you to do any of that. I don't want you to go ahead and give to my campaign because I ousted Kevin McCarthy. I want you to go fucking watch episode 534 and like it and make sure we get past the Facebook algorithm, which is shutting down political sites right now because they know election season's coming. Once we hit November, man, it's going to be tough to get you out there. You got to know when I come on. I'm going to start doing Tuesday and Thursday morning at 8:30. I'm coming on morning shows. Olivia and I will be here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the rest of the week at 8 o'clock. You'll have your recorded shows every day to every other day. Leroy and Amy are coming back. But go watch The Only Fraud is the Trial Itself. I break down the whole thing. I walk you through the corruption with the judge, some of the comments that should get him disbarred, Letitia James and her animus towards Donald Trump, the Mar-a-Lago property surrounding their valuation versus the $18 million valuation for Donald Trump. I do that, all of it. It's there for you. Go and watch the show. Go and share it. That's what I need. If you see a Don't Unfriend Me post, you got to like it. You got to share it. Don't use sad faces. Sad faces don't help. Even if it pisses you off, it just hurts the algorithm. We have got to keep growing. We have got to get bigger. We're hitting our stride. We're doing well. We're bringing it to you. And I'm telling you, keep the receipts from tonight because I promise you everything I told you is going to take place. If they do a motion to expel Gates and he's not voted out, he's swapped with the Democrats. And that should warn you. It should warn you. Livia, do you have anything to say tonight other than you want to go and relax?
No. Again, politics is not my area of expertise.
Well, you do a good job, and we love you.
When you ask me direct questions, I will answer them.
Would you like to have sex tonight?
Yes.
Okay. See.
Otherwise, I have no real opinion or knowledge to add to the subject. So.
All right. Can't stay connected with the show for more than 30 seconds. Just started yesterday. Yeah. Facebook's doing their thing. I'm telling you right now, they're starting to throttle people. My traffic has went down. We're still doing very, very well, but I need your help. I got to push past the algorithm. Okay. Last thing I'm going to say, have a wonderful night. Take care of each other. Don't hate each other. If anyone got mad about me tonight, I don't care. Stop it. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. This is a conversation that's powerful. There's a lot of emotion here. I'm not mad. I'm not even mad on that guy who censored himself. Just try to open up your mind and stop overreacting to the left and the right thing, because we're going to have to figure out how to come together, and it's got to happen soon. God love you. No one else will. See you guys tomorrow.
Night, y'all.
Hey, I'll be on tomorrow. Recorded show and live. No morning show. See ya.
Night.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.